Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Everton versus Luton. An opportunity to get a third win in a week. Jack, I can't quite believe I'm saying that, but a fantastic opportunity to get 3 wins in a row for Everton.
Yeah, well, we say that and, we joke about putting a couple of wins together and how mad it is, but it has actually been unprecedented for Everton as of late to put these results together and really build these points up. And this is, again, one of those games that we look at as a winnable fixture where we can pick up points conceivably. And, if we can do that, it just takes so much pressure off the following games, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've got this and Bournemouth both coming up, 2 games that you look at and think, okay, like, it's conceivable that we win here. It takes so much expectation off the coming games against harder teams, more difficult places to go, and it's a great chance to break what is slowly becoming the Goodison curse as well.
Slowly, yeah. Obviously, you have to go back to the Bournemouth game for the last time we got a victory at Goodison Park, and before that it was Brentford and Leeds. So there have not been many wins this year in this calendar year. So, Everton have got to win this game. It's as simple as that. I mean, the opposition haven't won a game so far, only picking up a point. Fine, they're new into the Premier League. It's a difficult start for them. They haven't invested a lot of money, so they are using mostly what is the team from last season, with a few added on players. But I just think in terms of, if Everton want to do anything this season, if they want to just do anything, they have to be beating sides that are perceived to be weaker than they are, and Luton are, if you look at the squad, much weaker than Everton. And obviously, it just, I think it goes without saying, if you play anyone outside of 5 or 6 teams in this Premier League at home, Everton should be winning, because that's what we've always done. That's what our bread and butter's always been. So to me, this is a game where there'll be people out there almost thinking, oh, 2 in a row playing Luton, oh, this could be one of them. But to me, it's got to be get out there, professional performance. Don't think it's a walkover. Don't think it's a gimme because they haven't won a game yet. Handle it the right way and put to bed, certainly the first 2 home games of the season where we were beaten, obviously, by Fulham and Wolves.
Yeah, definitely, because the home form does need to turn around. You're going to struggle a lot to build a successful season, whatever that is for your club, whether that's staying up, whether that's top half, Europe, whatever. Home form generally is quite crucial to a team's success. The teams that don't do well at home tend to be the ones that struggle. And getting 2 wins in a row, it's been great for us, but that all goes away if we don't win at the weekend. It's right back down to earth, because the team below us, a team that we're looking at as almost, propping us up, one of the teams we look at as being worse than us, that could potentially go down instead of us. They gain points on us.
Yeah.
They suddenly they equal on points with us.
With the beaters, they will be.
Yeah. So
and they've played a game less.
Yeah. So if we don't win on the weekend, or this good fortune, or not fortune, such good vibes around the club, that changes quite quickly.
Yeah, we've got to be really positive. And Luton have, as I mentioned there, they've played a game less because one of their first home game was called off. I think it was against Burnley due to the work at the ground. But started the season with a couple of heavy defeats: Brighton away and Chelsea away. Since then, the games have been a little bit tighter. West Ham 2-1, they got beat at home. Probably should have had a penalty late on. They were beaten at Fulham by 1 goal, and then at the weekend they got the first point, obviously drawing with Wolves after Wolves had a player sent off. So they'll feel like they're acclimatising just a little bit by bit. Obviously they got beaten the week in the League Cup, but they'd made 10 changes, obviously preparing themselves for this game, and they won't think they're out of it, because they have got a point, and the bottom part of the table is still a lot of teams. We've only got a few points. I mean, I say we've only got 4 points ourselves. We can't sit here just because we won 2 games in a week thinking we're all sound. So they'll be looking at this game thinking this is an opportunity for us to upset them. Come, be tight, keep a rigid, formation, and maybe think they can grab something on the break or off a set piece.
Yeah, and this is one of those games potentially where we're forced to have more of the ball than we'd necessarily like. You know, just analysing the game then for the final word, we had 32% possession, yet we really controlled the game. We're not a team who is coached to or necessarily even has the players to dominate the possession of a game. It's not what we do. It's not what we're necessarily good at. The more we have of the ball isn't necessarily beneficial to us. We're good on the break. We're good making quick, snappy moves, progressing the ball quick. We've got runners, the likes of Beto, the likes of Harrison, who can carry the ball. Players like Onana who aren't afraid to play that killer pass. Luton might try and sit in this game and force us to come and break them down. And then they can do to us what we've been doing to other teams, hit us quickly on the break. Like you say, they are growing into the quality of the league. They've got a team predominantly of championship players who've come up with them, been with the team for a while. They're learning on the job, aren't they? Learning the requirements of the Premier League. There's players like Carlton Morris who are adapting and chipping in with a few goals. And that's so every game you feel like they're going to get stronger, and they will win eventually. And that's the reality of it. And that's one of the biggest weapons in their arsenal at the moment. I think everyone knows, okay, these have got to win eventually. What's going to be the day they really turn up and get it? They'll be looking at Saturday thinking this can be the day.
Yeah, they'll be looking at the game on Saturday thinking, well, Everton haven't won a home game yet. They haven't scored a goal. If we can go and frustrate them, because there'll be a lot of positivity going into the game. If we can turn that, because people get frustrated, maybe expecting a goal. So that's where we've got to be on the front foot from the start. You mentioned the Luton team. Let's have a little look at the Luton team that played last week in the draw against Wolves. 3-4-3 formation. Berg, Lockyer and Bell at the back. Kabor, Nakambe, Lachonga, who's on loan from Arsenal. Doherty, Ogbean, Morris and Brown, the front three. Ross Barkley was obviously missing injury. He could be back for this game, which would be interesting. But there's not many household names in there. Let's just have a little look at Carlton Morris's numbers. He's got a couple of goals so far this season, penalties. Played in 5 games, all 5 games, XG of 2.52. Shots per game, 2.6. Both goals coming from his right foot. As I said, penalties. Got the goal at the weekend that got them a point. So he done well. He's a player, obviously, who come up last season and has done really well. And you've got, this is a club, obviously, it's a fantastic story. You've come through the divisions, something that gives a lot of hope to a lot of clubs. You've got the whole Wrexham thing at the moment, and someone like Wrexham thinking, well, look what Luton did, they did it. So it gives people that hope that he can come up. And but as I said, we've got to, and I know they will, because I know this is a team where they shouldn't be getting carried away by a couple of wins in a week. This is a team that's still not won a home game this season. This is a team that has got a poor home record and has to turn this round. And I feel like this is that game where you think this is that little hill we just need to get over.
Yeah, definitely. Before it becomes an even bigger issue for us, but a lot will be made out of the fact that we still haven't won at home if we fail to beat Luton as well, because it's another game racked up. It's another game we should be winning at home that we've failed into. I think to do that, Carlton Morris is the one we'll have to keep quiet. He is sort of the talisman. I know he's scoring through the penalties this season, and that did manage 20 goals for them last season. I was watching a bit of footage of him before we came on earlier, and he's not the most diverse sort of attacker. He's got what he's good at, and that's being a physical presence. He likes to play off the shoulder, and his size and explosiveness makes him hard to mark in that. You can mark him out of a game, but you can't switch off against him, and that's what we've got to do at the weekend. We can't switch off or give him space to run into with his pace and his power.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Different kind of player. That's maybe what Premier League defenders are used to working up against. Proper old-fashioned number 9. Let's just look at Everton's team, because obviously this is the team from last week against Brentford. Obviously changes were made in the week. Obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin came in and scored. James Garner played in midfield and scored. We went to 3 at the back with Michael Keane and Patterson coming in at right wing back. And obviously we had Harrison come in as well. This is a tough one, isn't it? This is the first time in a long time that the manager's got serious choices. 3-4 different options, different formation. It's got a real feel about it with the options he's got and the possibilities.
Yeah, and it's a lovely problem to have, isn't it? I think despite that, though, I'd be surprised if we've seen many changes.
Yeah.
I think the main one is where does Garner fit into it? James Garner, after his impressive midfield performance, and against Brentford was starting on the wing. Now Harrison's fit and available. Does he fill that right wing spot? James Garner, been one of our key players across the last 2 games, doesn't even necessarily get into the team, the starting 11 at the weekend. And yeah, it's a nice problem to have, but at the same time, you do want your key players on the pitch. James Garner's someone we've seen can make a difference. So it's how do you accommodate that? Decore for all his shortcomings, he's a reliable source of goals. You've got Onana playing well, Guay, incredibly important to this team.
Yeah. You just wonder, though, because what I would say is Decore's been massively important away from home. But at home, sometimes you don't always have the same feel because he's not, let's be honest, he's not a great passer of the ball.
No.
He doesn't necessarily get himself into those areas because of the way away teams play. Obviously, he's suited more. And I just wonder whether the manager will look at that and think, we need to have more control in this game. We need to have more controlled build-up. Actually not having Decore in there and having maybe James Garner in there might help that out, might aid us in that control possession. We've been poor giving the ball away too much at home. So that could be maybe where he looks at it.
Yeah, definitely. And if you are going to have more of the ball, Decore isn't necessarily the man you want in your midfield for those situations. We know what he's good at, and he is important to this team.
Of course he is.
But you can't just look at it on the basis, he scored last week, so he has to play. You need to judge every game by its own context. And I think we're going to have more of the ball here. We've got a midfielder in James Garner who's performing well. He's probably a bit more delicate on the ball than Decore. Yeah, the goal threat's not the same, but if we're going to have more of the ball, we can potentially make better chances. We don't want to be giving it away. And that's maybe with Decore's shortcoming in this side, isn't it?
And ultimately, that's what a squad's for. It's horses for courses. Yes, you'll have a lot of the players who are absolutely nailed on. But you've got to have alterations. You've got to have players in form, players who suit the opposition, formations that suit the opposition as well. That's going to get the best out of you. And as I said, the home form is not good. So Everton have got to find maybe something a little bit different that makes the opposition think, I didn't think they were going to do that. And I think that's what having 3 or 4 players who have similar ability, which I think we've got now. A lot of people talk about having big squads, but it's not always about having big squads. It's about having a squad where people come in and you don't see a difference. That's the real measure of a squad. And don't get me wrong, I'd love it if we had 7 subs who could walk into our team, like, you look at Man City's bench or Liverpool's bench, whatever. It is having those players when you have 3 or 4 and you go, if he plays instead of him today, there's no drop-off. If he comes on the pitch, you're hoping there's no drop. I mean, that wasn't quite the same with Villa Park, because there was a drop-off when you have too many subs at once. But that's certainly going to help us.
Well, that's what the best teams have, isn't it? It's, players of similar or equal ability on the bench, but then also a lot of them. We've got the equal ability, but not a lot of players. If we were to get a few injuries, the squad would look quite thin. At the moment, everyone's coming back. Harrison's back, Calvert-Lewin's back. So take advantage of it while we can, and don't be afraid to make changes just because someone's played well in the last games. You've got to look at our back catalogue of home games that we've not performed well in. Okay, what's the consistencies needed? Who are the players who are continuously performing worse at home? And are they guaranteed starters?
And there's levels as well, isn't there? There's levels of fitness. Dominic Calvert-Lewin played 70 minutes. Who knows how he's feeling today? His first 70 minutes for a while. Don't forget, that's for a while. When was the last time he played 70 minutes and went off? Because he could go off, not because he had to go off. So that's important as well. So the manager will look at it different ways, but it's going to be a tough game. Fair play, all respect to Luton. They've done absolutely fantastically, and I'm certainly not sitting here thinking, because there's a lot of stuff about like record points and all this. They're just finding the feet in the Premier. The same with all the teams that got promoted. We had a situation last year where Bournemouth went to Anfield, I think, what was it, 7-0? Or 9 or whatever. Sheffield United get beat 8-0 by Newcastle. It's still early days for these teams. They're finding the feet. This year they don't have that nice cushy break of a World Cup, so it's slightly different. They don't get those days off, but I'm certainly not taking this game lightly, and I hope no one at Everton's taking this game lightly. We've got to go out there and, 100% making sure and giving something to the home fans, because we deserve it. We deserve a game where we win a game of footy and it's just not like this is win or die. It'd be just nice to have a win and go,
a good performance
that was
and a good result.
Good performance, good result. We deserve that today. On to the next one, and and that's what we need.
It is one of them games, isn't it, where if we play to the best of our ability, we should win. So therefore, it should be the minimum requirement.
And they don't come round that often, or don't seem to come round that often. So there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this one. Luton Town at home in the Premier League. Come on, Everton, 3 points, please. 3 points. Please let us know. Give your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want more great videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premiere, where we do daily live exclusives. The link is in the description. The QR code's coming up on the screen now. See you later.